What's up, family? Back on our Real Talk Tuesdays, overcoming adversities. Today I have this beautiful young lady, Jessica, on, and I want her to talk about whatever it is that came to her heart. Talk to us, Jessica.
Hi, my name's Jessica, 17 years old. I'm from Tulare, California. I wanted to share a story with you guys about a couple little incident that happened a couple years back, and I was really at my lowest in life, and my family was too. We were going through some things, and so it started off my sophomore year when I was a sophomore at Tulare Western, and I had started going to counseling to see a therapist because I was really depressed. And kind of the type of girl I was always out, I was always partying. I wouldn't want to go to school, but like I just would want to party and drink all the time. So I went to therapy, and I had told my therapist about my sexual assault that I had experienced when I was 5 years old as a little girl. And it was really hard for me because I didn't get to talk to anybody about it, especially because I didn't get to talk to my dad about it, the main person I wanted to talk about it to, but I couldn't because it was a family member. And so one day at school, I'm in class and I get pulled out of class, and I have to go talk to a detective. And the detective is questioning me, and he tells me, "You're gonna have to tell your dad. We're gonna have to tell your dad." And I'm like, "No, I don't. My dad doesn't know." And he's like, "Well, you are under the age, so he needs to know." So I immediately freaked out, and I was like, "No, don't tell him. I'll tell him. I'd rather him hear it from me than anybody else, you know?" So I tell him, and ever since I tell him, things just get worse, you know. The drinking gets worse, his drinking gets worse. It's just this big elephant in the room nobody wants to talk about. And me being so young, I'm just like, I don't care. I had that little mindset of like, I'm gonna do what I want and no one's gonna tell me otherwise. But little did I know that attitude was not gonna get me nowhere. It was getting me nowhere in life. So a couple weeks or a couple months go by, and I got SARB'd. I had a 1.0 GPA, and I only showed up like 15 days out of the school year that year for sophomore year. So I went, and a case manager there, his name was Sergeant Bernal, and he tells me, "Look, Panetta, I know you don't want to be here. You could roll your eyes, you could give that stank face all you want, but you have potential, and I see it in you." And he broke it down, the academy, to me, and what it is, I go for 6.5 months and to work on myself. No phone, no contact with family, only once a week. Basically, I'm stripped away of all my free things that you get out here in the real world. And it's a real structured environment like the military, but you're not using guns and stuff like that. So while I was there, I really had to sit down with myself and with my demons and really like work things out, because for a while I blamed myself for what happened when I was a little girl, and it wasn't my fault. I was little, so I didn't really understand. And for a while I hated my mom for it too, because she left me alone there with him, and she was always gone. And that's one of the things I had to really come to face with, that I cannot change what happened to me. I can never go back and change what has been done. But what I can do is I can take that situation and I could apply it to other things. Like, okay, if I'm gonna just sit and dwell in this hurt from happened like so many years ago, and I'm this old now, what good is that gonna do? I'm just standing still. So while I was at Grizzly, they helped me build my resume. I did an internship, I had a 3.0 GPA, and when I came back from Grizzly, I graduated early, a year early from ACHS. And honestly, while being there at Grizzly, I've never had much better, good support group. I had my dad. My dad, he's like my best friend. That is my best friend right there. I would do anything for him. And it just makes me so emotional and so happy though, because we were both in a really dark place. My dad was so heartbroken and he was so hurt, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm so proud of me, because we both came a long way. He didn't have anything. He didn't have a job. Sorry, Dad, I'm putting you on blast. He didn't have a job, and he didn't have a car. He didn't have anything. He was just drinking all the time. And I started going to church at Grizzly, and that opened up my faith a lot. And started writing my dad, telling him, Dad, you should go to church. And I started sending him brochures of like rehabs and things he could do to help him to stop drinking. And when I tell you I prayed every night that I'd come home to a sober dad, I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And my dad, he's clean now. He hasn't drank. He's getting married. He has a car and he has a job. I'm so proud of him. And that just shows you that no matter what life throws at you, you gotta come back 10 times harder, because life does not care. It's gonna beat you down. It's gonna keep coming, but it's up to you to decide whether, okay, I need to do something about this. I can't do this. You gotta be the own boss in your life, and you gotta take initiative of that. So my advice to you guys is, especially the young ladies out there that, they're looking for love in all the wrong places, or, they're just really confused and not what to do with life. Love yourself first. And this goes for anyone. Love yourself first. I tell you, you really see things so much differently when you take care of yourself, and when you actually love yourself. For me, I was down bad. I was really down bad. I wasn't taking care of myself at all. I was always drinking, always smoking. Anytime I could, I would drink. But after Grizzly, I had a clear mind. I felt more alive. I had a better attitude about things. I had more motivation. And it all starts with the people you surround yourself with. Because if you take a healthy fruit, and you get a molded fruit, put them together, what do you think's gonna happen to the healthy fruit? It's gonna get ugly, right? And all freaking moldy and stuff, right? So you gotta look at it like that way. You start thinking, you become who you hang out with, basically what I'm trying to say. So just gotta be smart about who you hang out with and what you put into your body, because in the long run, it affects you. And
Jessica, I'm so proud of you. When I first met you a few years back, you were like a walking zombie. You had like no life in you whatsoever. It's like she was just going through the motions. You never saw her smile.
yeah.
You never heard her speak. She was just existing like so many of us. We've been beat down by life and we've given up. And that's the look that she had in her eyes. She was just glossed over. And we went out and we talked for a few minutes. And then it was just a whole domino effect. And I look at you now and it's like you're so vibrant, so alive, just so carefree. And it's like you're a beautiful soul now. You always were, but you kept it covered up and you kept it
I was scared.
hidden. Yeah,
I was scared too.
And it's like you have so much life now. And it's like, you know what? I want to say this, family. You can't judge a book by its cover. So often we're so quick to judge people, not having a clue of what they're going through, not having a clue of what they've gone through. And looking at this young lady, man, you would never imagine that she's gone through all the stuff that she's gone through. She hasn't
That's
told
just a
you, yeah.
little bit of my life. That's just a little bit.
She hasn't told you all the stuff she's going through. I know a lot of it. I don't know all of
Yeah.
it. But man, you can't look at her and you can't see that she's gone through any of those things. And that's the beauty of forgiveness. That's the beauty of letting go. That's the beauty of becoming alive again and taking back your power. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that thing again about forgiveness.
Yeah.
It took a really long time for me to forgive my mom. A really long time. Through all the abuse and all the hurtful things she's said to me, I love her to death. And I would do anything for her to this day. And a lot of people will be like, why? Like, she did you so wrong. That's your mom. Yes, she did me wrong. Yes, that's my mom. And a lot of people would say, no, fuck that. They get cut off. But with me, I can't. I just, it's really hard for me to hold a grudge. I can't. She brought me into this world. She brought me into this world. And even though she said those hurtful things and she did those mean things to me, I know she didn't mean it. Even though she probably did, I still want to believe she didn't mean it because that's my mom and I always want to see the good in things, and I try not to let that negativeness get to me in back of my head. And if the more like I felt it, like the hate, it just took over me. Like I had an attitude towards everything. Like I had a nasty mouth. I had and it was the hate. It was because I kept holding on to that. I hated her so much, I forgot about myself. I started letting myself slip. So you really gotta forgive people because it eats you up inside. It really does. And you might not notice it. It might not happen now or later. It could happen in 5 years, but you will notice it. And forgiveness, that's love right there. That's real love right there.
Cool. Anything else?
No.
Happy healing, family. I love you guys.
Birthday
Peace.
shout out to my dad. Hey.
Happy birthday, Jesse.